Well, let's go ahead and open the meeting. Nadia, would you call the roll, please?
Anshat,
Here.
Travis Oakley,
Here.
Raymond Laser,
Here.
Don Black,
Here.
Margie Dunn,
Here.
Marcus Simmons, Pat Darcy, Sonia Luso.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. The next order of business is approval of the minutes of 12/7/2021. Are there any additions or corrections? Then the minutes stand approved as written. On new business, just to give the applicant a little bit more time.
Excuse me, Madam Chair, I don't mean to disrupt, but generally it's our protocol to have a motion and a second to approve the minutes.
Not according to Robert's Rules of Order.
Okay, that's the way you prefer to do it.
All you have to do is approve them as written, but if you would like a motion and a second, we can do that.
Okay, I'll move that we accept them as they
Do I
are.
have a second? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Minutes are approved. I will need a motion to consider Part B under new business first. May I hear that motion, please?
I make a motion to move the agenda to Part B first because we want to accommodate the applicant.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So Part B, consideration of a request from Development Services on behalf of the City of New Bern to amend Section 15-80, endorsements on major subdivision plats. Seth?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you very much, Madam Chair. And congratulations on your first meeting. Thank you very much. So as y'all see in your packets, we've got some updated language on the endorsements for major subdivision plats. I believe the reasoning behind this is there have been some changes at the state level, more modern, more recently than our ordinance had been updated. So we're just changing this to be in conjunction with what's in the state statute. So here's what it looks like with those changes made. Let's go forward.
Is there any discussion? Any questions? And the chair will entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion that we recommend approval of the ordinance as presented.
I
I'll make a
second that.
motion. We have a second.
I second.
Is there any further discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries. On to new business A, New Market HDS LLC / McKim Creed are requesting subdivision final plan approval for Carolina Colors Medical Park, a proposed 3-lot major subdivision. This subdivision is located on a combined 7.81 acres in the C3 Commercial District. The site is located to the west of US Highway 70 and to the east of Waterscape Way in Ward 3. Seth?
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. So again, this is a 3-lot subdivision. We have 3 parcels. Parcel A, 2.04 acres, parcel B, 1.20 acres, and parcel C, 4.05 acres. The subdivision is also going to include 0.52 acres of designated right-of-way. Again, the total area is 7.81 acres. See where the property is located here, adjacent to the traffic circle in Carolina Colors, off Waterscape Way. You can see how this is the area that's going to be eventually adopted as public right-of-way. And that's so these lots can meet the subdivision ordinance that requires they have frontage on a public road, public street. So our recommendation, Planning and Zoning Board review the general plan for Carolina Colors Medical Park at their December 2021 regular scheduled meeting. Determine if the plan meets the requirements for approval. Staff has reviewed the proposed final subdivision and finds that all the technical and legal requirements for final subdivision plan approval have been satisfied. Therefore, final subdivision plan approval of Carolina Colors receipt of performance bond accepted by the city attorney. That bond has been submitted, the amount has been approved by Public Works. I think everybody's satisfied on that.
Is there any discussion?
Do we have a map showing where these 3 parcels are in conjunction to the retirement or assisted living building that's being built there now?
Assisted living is right here. I don't have a map on me, in this presentation that shows all of those. We can, I could get one and email it to you.
That's unnecessary.
Within close proximity?
You there, Jason?
Okay.
The property line is right here.
Okay.
But these 3 parcels, there's no, just using that one lane, right? Latham Lane
Yes.
to get to them.
They initially had requested, original plans, they had hoped to have an ingress egress right here off of the traffic circle that we felt like was absolutely unsafe.
Great.
And so this is the result of several months worth of discussions back and forth in the city.
That's good.
Where's the railroad track?
Railroad tracks?
Where is that?
Nowhere near that.
Okay.
Here's here, and
Oh, okay, okay.
Any more questions or discussion? And the chair will entertain a motion.
I would like to make a motion to approve item A as so discussed and as outlined in the agenda.
Second.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? And all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries. Next thing is board member comments. Seth and I have been having a wonderful discussion this afternoon, and he has some information for us.
thank you, Madam Chair. We're all familiar with the concerns that have been, this board, some of the members have had about water flow in the Blue Water Rise development. I called today to talk to Jordan and Nadia, actually, the 3 of us spoke, and she pointed out in a conversation that I had not realized had taken place in the middle of November. So I'll just read you guys an email that Jordan had sent to my boss and a few of the people in City Hall. So Water Resources and the Fire Department staff were able to work on the flow in this area today, flow testing, and were able to find an isolation valve on Snapper Drive or Way that had an obstruction in the valve box, which has not allowed the valve to be fully open. Once the obstruction was cleared, the valve was fully open and the hydrants downstream were retested. The field fire flows from the retested hydrants indicate that the hydrants in this area are now within the range that had been expected from the hydraulic model calculations. The results from today are shown on they have an attached diagram that it's, frankly, it's hard for me to read, so that didn't want to print one out. As you see, hydrant 20-444 is much closer to the model projection with a flow of 932 gallons per minute. And the most remote active hydrant in the development, H9, is producing a field flow of 933 gallons per minute. At this point, it appears that we have resolved the low flow issue in Blue Water Rise, and all the hydrants in that development should be flowing between 850 and 1,200 gallons per minute. We will continue to work in implementing the Southeast Water Loop project, which once complete will increase the hydrant flows in Blue Water Rise development from 1,300 or to a range of 1,300 to 2,300 gallons per minute. So, I talked to Jordan again this afternoon, and he said that they are still working towards that loop. They're waiting on freeing up some funds that'll be paid that will go towards the infrastructure for that. So,
You don't have the timeline on it, do you?
sir?
You have a timeline on that?
No. But I think they were happy to see that instead of 5 and 700, that everything over there is sitting in the mid-900s.
And the other part that that Sonny just was talking about, obviously it's a work in progress, isn't it? Right? They're
Yeah.
working on it.
But that's all, isn't that all dependent on getting the easement?
See, that, it would be best to have Jordan or somebody that's well-versed in that.
The loop project, you mean?
Yeah,
I think-
but the easement is going to be problematic, because isn't that a lot of that land state protected forest that you're trying to get the easement through?
I'm not familiar with it.
Yeah, that probably is a question for Jordan. We don't really have
Well,
any.
ma'am, we've been asking this question for a long time. I'm very happy to see that the water flow, because there was a valve that was obstructed somehow or other. But, you know, we're asking questions, and maybe our legal assistant here can provide some light on it. This is not a surprise that we're asking you. You should have an answer for that by now for us.
I'm not-
Is there a reason why this legal easement has not been processed yet? It shouldn't take several months.
We really don't have the information. I'm not even sure Jordan has all the information.
Well,
just
he's the
yet.
one applying for the easement, shouldn't he definitely have it? That doesn't make sense to me.
I really don't have any.
We were told that the
information.
process was being expedited by the Director of Development Services. If it was being expedited, I think they should be able to have an answer what the holdup is. And I don't think you guys could get an easement because it's state-owned property and you've had to go to the legislature to get it. But I'm glad to see that the water flow is alleviated a lot, but I just can't believe these answers we're getting. They don't sound professional to me. They don't sound like the due diligence is done. Normally an easement's granted very quickly, not as long as we've been waiting to hear from it.
Seth, with that being said, from Don and the interaction here, is there any way you could just follow up with Jordan to find out, A, I was under the impression that where they were trying to get the easement from was actually privately owned. That's what I was under the impression. So I could be wrong there.
Yeah.
Could we just could we possibly just verify that?
Is this
and then-
open or closed? You got some people out here that want to come in. Is this a closed meeting or open meeting?
Oh, it's an open meeting, sir.
Is it open?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah, you can go in there.
I think it's owned by something called Wildlife Trust, which in turn is owned by the state or something like that.
So Seth, if possible, could we just
Absolutely.
could we just verify and then?
And I would have looked into that.
Yeah, no problem.
I was
I-
asked about 5
Yeah, no problem. This is good news that you just passed, so that's a good step
I
in the right
know,
direction.
I'm elated that that's
Yeah,
true.
that's great.
And I'm glad that we brought it up, because I don't know if they would have been as diligent, so that works. And I think, I think that if the easement really is going to go through state land, it may take a long time.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, if we could just follow up with that with Jordan, that'd be great, and then I think that puts a lot of potential checks in the box.
Yes, sir.
I think that makes everybody on this board very happy too, to know that the situation is being taken care of.
Absolutely.
I'll be speaking to Norm Sanderson shortly. If you need help in the Senate level, I can certainly tug on his ear.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Are there any other board comments after we've gotten this great news?
No. What the,
Then we have nothing else to cover. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
I'd like to propose a motion to adjourn this meeting.
Okay.
Do you want?
yeah,
I was going to ask. Do you want to ask what if they were in
Yes.
specifically?
Y'all came in. Is there anything we can do for you?
Well, we were told to join this meeting this evening, just due to concerns regarding the developers here in the city and of the neighborhood that we live in, so.
Can you be more specific?
Yeah.
Absolutely, if you'd like,
Yeah,
yeah.
sure.
Blue Water Rise with sides construction. So just with the issues with, how do you want to put it?
Erosion sediment control, we're both engineers.
Yeah.
And, you know, we've called the state. Every project has to comply with erosion and sediment control requirements, period. We live next to a very, you know, sensitive water environment. You know, all these creeks eventually make their way to the Neuse and out to the ocean. We need to keep sediment on site. and not let it run rampant. And all along the perimeter of the project at the extent it is now, I mean, the silt fence is down in spots, you know, things are just conveying across
Water spouting.
the limit of the project, and that's not appropriate. It's never appropriate. And I know there's portions of the road, the new road, you know, that feeds the development, that asphalt's breaking up. You know, I'm not familiar with New Bern's specific road standards, but, you know, I work at Cherry Point, and I design the roads there, and our minimum thickness is at least 3 inches, and we're only getting 1.5 inches of pavement. And all the heavy truck traffic is wiping out the roads that we got. And if the city's already accepted those roads,
They have not been. I don't think any of them have been accepted.
that's good news.
Good.
That's great news, because, I mean, they're just, there's not enough road there to
It's falling
support
apart.
the construction that's going on. And if anyone's driven down Landscape Road, you can see the cross culverts and water mains across underneath there, those ditches, all the truck traffic from the work in Carolina Colors, the 2 new build-out sections. They've been hauling material up to that little portion of land in between that's not part of the city. You know, it's not bound into city limits. All that fill is going up that dirt road. What's that little dirt road there off of Old Airport? You know, Landscape, and then you turn real quick, and right there is that dirt road. All the
County
material's
line.
going up there. The heavy trucks just park on the side of the road. And I mean, that road, when we moved in here 1.5 years ago, Landscape was pretty flat. And since the project has taken off, the circles, the asphalt splitting at the joint, because it's being shoved by the trucks as they turn, it's splitting the pavement. And I manage all the asphalt on the airfield, all the concrete on the airfield. I know asphalt, I know concrete, and these materials aren't meant to take the kind of loads they're getting for the residential design they've got, right? You know, we put 2.5 inches, 3 inches of pavement down. They're not expected to last for 20 years, seeing, you know, 60,000 pound loads over and over and over again. And that's why Landscape is doing the, you know, the roller coaster. And that's just going to get worse. It's going to fail. I mean, a couple more real wet springs, and that's going to fail. So, I mean, these are concerns that we have. We just want to make sure people are aware that, hey, these things are going on, and, you know,
Ultimately, they'll fall back on all of us as taxpayers.
I mean, these are things that, you know, the city's not going to want to take the heat on, but it's definitely something that's going to happen. You know, you're going to have to replace portions of these roads. And, you know, at $50,000, $60,000 a repair, $100,000 a repair, to cut out, replace bedding, and put the road back, I mean, those are significant dollars that probably are earmarked for other things. And I don't know if, you know, developers are required to have a maintenance bond or anything like that. And if those maintenance bonds cover damages to city infrastructure. If they don't, they should, because they are putting a lot of wear and tear, moving bigger. I mean, they're moving a lot of material. And, you know, it's just something to be mindful of.
And some of the smaller things, you know, like, you know, when they're moving all these soils, they're tracking stuff all over. They're not cleaning it on a regular basis. It's creeping into the stormwater conveyance system. You know, it's just wear and tear on the city's infrastructure. You know, just to be cognizant of that. And then from the residents' perspective, the people in our neighborhood, you know, they're spending $325,000, $375,000 for these houses.
Over $400,000 for
Over
some of these houses.
$400,000 for these houses, and their construction is not great. You know, brand new houses, and the second floor bathrooms are leaking through the kitchen ceilings. Rotted trusses, cracked trusses. You know, and I understand that. You know, anytime you buy a house, it's always on the resident to have a home inspection done, but
Due diligence.
when you're buying a brand new house, house, you expect it to be in brand new condition. And, you know, and a lot of these younger families that are moving in and buying houses don't understand that and don't know to do their own, you know, work. And they're getting jaded. They're really getting jaded.
Well, there's a lot of military people too that,
Right.
you know, are moving in, that are young officers, you know.
This isn't Blue Water Rise.
It is Blue Water Rise. And then the
Housing
the grading's not finished, you know, they put in the sidewalk, which is great, but then didn't finish grade it. And so you have a sidewalk and a drop off on both sides and dirt piles everywhere, you know, so there's, and I'm not talking
It's not
about a week or
nitpicking.
two, it's months
been-
and months and months like that.
But that's something I think you need to go to the developer for.
So.
It's not here at this table.
Okay, no, I understand what you're saying, but when all you get as a resident with a developer is, I don't give a crap, you have to go somewhere else, and you guys are the ones that
You
do
hold
the
the permits.
permitting,
You hold
and
the
you're the
permits.
ones that tell them yes or no that they can continue developing in New Bern, and you are the only people who have the power to back the residents. And if you don't back the residents, they get really frustrated.
Because
You have to,
we
you
pay our
have to keep that,
taxes,
you
right?
have to keep that in mind.
We're paying the taxes to the city, and.
Yeah, I have a question for, doesn't the city have to issue a CO on these
They
houses?
do on each one.
And doesn't it have to be in compliance with the
It
basic
does.
zoning code? And these people are telling us that the houses are not in compliance, they're being
So
sold
don't
with
keep
rotted
issuing.
trusses?
I can tell you that the building inspectors inspect the homes, they
Well,
see,
I mean, if you go out there this winter,
They can't look at
when
every
they
single
stage
truss.
houses to be
It's
built,
not
right?
happening.
You'll have 4 or 5 houses worth of trusses that are sitting out there waiting for the guys to come build
In
it.
the mud.
And they're just laying in the dirt, right? And if they're laying in the dirt for a week, fine, but when they're laying in the dirt for 2 months, 3 months, I mean, it's not good for the materials.
And they're not laying flat either.
yeah.
You know, they're pushed into a ditch and, you know, they're tipped and bent and twisted and then someone's, you know, spending money to buy a house that they think is in good shape. So, you know, when folks don't have anywhere else to go, they're getting strong-armed by the developer, they're getting strong-armed by the management, the HOA management group. We still don't have a working HOA. Granted, that's not your problem, but these are all the compounding things that as the residents, my neighbors, you know, we're engineers, but when you take their frustrations and complaints, also, they don't always know how to voice or where to go, and when they're just getting their head bashed in every time they complain, like I said, to the developer or to the premier management group, they don't know what else to do. Like, so for instance, when we first moved into the neighborhood, we were the 4th house in our phase. The grading was decent. We had a workable backyard swale that connected all the backyards and drained everything out to the appropriate location where it would filter out into the swamp. They built another house behind us. When they regraded the yard, they regraded it flat. That doesn't affect me. My house is high, but the houses that are around it, all the stormwater now rushes up into their backyard within a couple feet of their back door.
And that's coming from
That's
the
an
houses that are
issue.
higher, like our house. And, you know, this is another thing, you know, someone that knows didn't look at the development design when it was going through review, because initially, all the properties were designed where it slopes from the back of the property to the road. We had these big, huge open ditches in our section of the development, the South Wind phase, and they discovered that that doesn't work. It's too far. The water isn't getting to where it needs to go to, and they can't control the grade to that distance with sand. So they put this ditch in at the back of the property lines to capture the backyard water. And then they didn't grade them all. There's just not control of the grading very well. And, you know, some properties are having to deal with water issues. The water issues, that's, you know, my big thing is road drainage. And, you know, we spend money on the property. One thing that we got pushback on, our driveway was eroding on either side at the ditch because they put a pipe in there, packed it with sand, and then covered it with sod. Like the sod's gonna hold back the sand. And then, you know, we get a nasty gram because we built a concrete little bulkhead on the upwater side to protect it from scour. And looking at the plans that the board approved,
They all had both.
they were all supposed to have head walls.
And they didn't have.
Every driveway was supposed to have a head wall. And somehow, those head walls changed. They were removed. And, you know, that's $3,000 a house, 40 houses, that's an extra $100,000 he put in his pocket because he didn't put head walls in. That's not cool, because you look at every one of these houses around there that has the big ditch in front of their house, the head wall on each side of their driveway is eroding.
It's gone.
Some houses, they're brand new, and it's washed out. They've had to come in and cut back the driveway and replace part of the driveway because it's getting undermined. So these are the things that, you know, our city inspectors are out there watching, but there's things that get approved by the board that don't get put into place in the field. Who's making that approval?
Is either one of you a professional engineer?
I'm a PE, I'm a licensed PE in the state of North Carolina, New York, and Pennsylvania.
Can I get you guys in contact with our city engineer?
Oh, absolutely.
So, and the chief building inspector.
That's who they need to go to.
Seth, can I make a quick suggestion?
Yeah.
Obviously, you folks are very well versed in what you're talking about, and we know that. I think it'd be, and I may be out of my lane here, so tell me if I am, put me back in my box, but I think it'd be valid to have them type up valid concerns, and then obviously address the inspectors and just make sure that this stuff goes, because this is not the only place, and you and I have had a conversation off the record here, but this is not the only time that I've seen builders do that here in New Bern. It's like, and we know how that goes, it's get them up, get them out. So I think if we could do that and then maybe reinvigorate the inspectors to say, hey, these are some of the valid things that homeowners are just purchasing these homes, they're starting to see. Now I realize too that it is an active construction site because, and I know we haven't accepted the roads as the city, so I understand that, you know, they're going to be held accountable to fix the roads and fix all the damage, which that will be taken care of. So, but again, it doesn't bode well when you do have people with valid concerns and they're in a home that they just bought and there's all, you know.
I mean, there's one house where, I'm not exaggerating, there's an old, naturally, Mother Nature put a creek through there, they filled it in with the project, and there's an outfall there now, and that eroded all the way back to the foundation of the home. It was undermining the concrete slab of the house. And the guy went and, you know, got some heavy timbers, put some stuff in the ground to try to stop the soil from rushing out. I mean, and they're like, oh, it's kind of on you. You guys should have established sod in the backyard to hold it in. But, I mean, he'd only been there 2 months.
You said you were in the first group of houses.
No, we're in the second.
We're in Southwind phase.
And you said you have 1.5 inches of asphalt?
Oh, yeah, that's all there is there.
Is that the base course? I mean, they come.
No.
No, it doesn't appear to be the base course because when you look at the curbing in any of the areas around us, the asphalt goes right up to the curb edge. So there's no room for a top.
There's no room for a top course. In our phase, though, all the driveways have about 1 inch of reveal.
Right.
So there could theoretically be another course.
But as far as we've been told, there's
no
plan
other
to
course.
do. And I also work in pavement and work with one of the contractors
Because I know that-
who pays that neighborhood, and he said there's no plans for paving
I
that.
mean, I know that they can typically would just put base course down until the house is
Correct,
finished.
absolutely. That's standard practice everywhere
Yeah,
else.
because you're going to wear out, you're going to put the dumpsters down, you're going to do stuff.
Right.
Yeah, understand it. Our area is 100% built out. Our phase is built out.
Right.
So our loop that goes around
It's Kingfish
Kingfish
and,
Way.
Yeah, Kingfish and whatever the other little
Yeah, I
bit
don't know
of
what
it
the
is.
backside is, but that loop, there's no other construction going on there. It's done.
That's been done for at least 8 months.
And you're also telling us that the grading and the bulkheads, the final houses that are being sold are not in compliance to the...
Well, the original plans that we saw
The original plans we were given for our house
have
have the
a
head walls.
head wall at the driveway, because it's a
And the
rather
culverts.
deep ditch. I mean, it's an open ditch, low density
Yeah.
design. So there's a concrete head wall, and that makes sense that it's there because of the soils we have here are highly erodible. I mean, Yeah.
But none of the head walls were built. Only one resident has head walls.
And that's at the
when-
very end.
When we talked to him, he said it's because he threw a hissy fit and got them to barter with him or whatever. So we built our own head wall, you know, to shore that up because it was just washing out. And I don't want to lose the head of my concrete driveway. That's an expensive repair. So, you know, it's stuff like that that, you know, the residents.
And
are
these
getting
were not in
frustrated about.
compliance to the plan.
That's not what the plan showed.
That's not what the plans show, and I mean, there's probably, I can't imagine it's what was approved. And that's my other thing, is, you know, if it's approved by the board, it's gonna be shown as, you know, built as one way, and then who has the authority to tell them it's okay to change that? Because in my mind, that's infrastructure, right? It's within the city's right of way. So, I mean, eventual right of way, I mean, the 66-foot right of way, it's within that 66 foot. So, it's really the city's infrastructure. And the city doesn't want to go out there and have to reinstall, you know, road end pipes, you know, the culvert pipes underneath driveways. They don't want to do that. But if it isn't done right, they'll have to do that over and over and over again because it wasn't installed right.
So Seth, is that a feasible thing that we could do, and then we could specifically, we could capture it, you know, either an email to yourself or whoever you deem as the best person, then we could go back and actually have the inspector go out and kind of verify some of this stuff and sort through it, because obviously
Yeah, we need
there's
to get those
concerns.
inspection inspectors and also the.
And we've had folks out before. We've had stormwater out before to take a look at stuff, and we've had, you know, road inspector out before to take a look at
So what
stuff.
did they say?
We don't get feedback.
They just come out and look and, you know,
A generic email
check the box if
kind
they
of
can.
that says,
and
well, just
I'm sure they talk about it,
be
but
assured that we're working on it, kind of.
I don't think they have much control either.
Well, and that's
Because
been the comment.
the developer
With random
owns that.
staffers, you know, New Bern staffers, as well, we don't really have any
Say,
leverage.
we don't
Yet you
need
do have
leverage.
leverage. You guys have the leverage. Don't keep giving them C of Os.
Yeah.
Don't approve the next phases until they clean up the ones they've got open.
The city doesn't accept.
I mean, we moved down here from, I was on a planning board just like this in Western New York. I mean, so I understand all the things that you guys deal with, but, you know, one of the tools we would hold permits, we would sit on. Sorry, until the rest of these things, all of our, you know, punch list items here for the last phase, they haven't been fixed yet. And this is just the city's interests.
Don't accept them.
You know, we're not accepting that that's complete, and we're not gonna issue any more until it's done. Because he's just building houses, you know, and houses go up, you know, one a month, they're knocking them off, and that's great.
And he's doing
making
it.
money.
I mean, that's his
And
job, right?
that's
He
fine,
does it in
that's what he's in
Jacksonville, he does
business
it
for.
here, but-
We bought one of them,
Yeah.
and we like our house.
Yeah, we
But
love our house.
it's just a matter of looking out for the infrastructure and making sure that we've invested in that piece of property, that the infrastructure that supports it is gonna last for 40, 50 years. I plan to live till I'm 90, so I got another 50 years in me. So I'd like that all to stay in there until, you know, I don't need it anymore.
I don't know if this board has any kind of enforcement mechanism, so, and I'm not happy with what I'm hearing, I have to say that right now.
Seth, who is the developer for Blue Water Rise? Please refresh my memory.
Sides.
A sides, Anthony, 20 sides.
I'm not sure you spell it sides, right?
That's why he
yes.
And the reason we came here tonight, we heard that there was another meeting to talk about the proposed 165
That they want to
unit
keep
development
developing.
on the other side of the creek, which is, you know, a portion of woods that they had, that's clear cut now, adjacent to the state land. And, you know, we wanted to weigh in on that. Like, oh, hold up, they got a big project
They
here
need to
that
fix what they got
isn't done,
first.
and let's not get ahead of ourselves.
Well, we definitely appreciate you guys coming and sharing what you've seen and what you're dealing with. I definitely think, Seth, you could probably.
Stick around, I'll get my
Yeah,
contact information.
and we can get the inspectors back out there and actually look at some of the valid concerns. Nadia's already on it, so.
Yeah, she
Yes,
is.
and I know we don't have anything really that we can do here, but I would appreciate it if you got back to us and see, just to let us know that it's in the process.
Yeah.
I would suggest these people go to a Board of Aldermen meeting and address the Alderman directly with this.
Yeah, I think that's your best bet.
Because,
You know,
we
from our perspective, We're still
unfortunately,
getting used to.
We're still
the
learning how
different-
it works
the
here.
different structure down
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
You know,
We're not used to aldermen, and it's a different setup from where we lived in New York, so we're just getting used to it, sorry.
and we're in the city, we're in,
Oh, we're very
Village.
country, very country.
We have more cows than we had people in
Yeah.
our
The
county.
first Alderman meeting of the month is Petition of Citizens, and you can speak for 4 minutes. On
Okay.
anything you want to, you just have to sign up. So I would suggest you go to next Tuesday's Alderman meeting, which will be the second Tuesday of the month, and go early and sign up for the Petition of Citizens. It's right to your left as you walk in the door. You can sign up and speak, and that's going to be your best bet.
Okay.
And also, your alderman should be Bobby Astor, Ward 3.
That sounds right.
You need to contact him ahead of time.
Okay.
Yeah, you can email him, and he'll promptly get back to you, he's too good.
Okay.
And, there's a couple other people in our neighborhood who, are working also from the alderman side, that are maybe contractors in their own professions that see the same stuff, and we're all trying to work together to help each other out, to put people in the right direction when they have problems with their stuff.
the voting members of this board are very limited in what we can do. Once when the planning department tells us that an application meets all the legal criteria, we are compelled by law to vote for it. We had a vote recently about something concerning sites construction. I was director of the board, and I was told that I would be arrested by the attorney if I didn't vote for the approval of it, and these people backed me up. I've had a lot of problems with the sites construction for a long time, and it doesn't surprise me to hear the shenanigans that are going on now. I'm from New York too, and I'm not used to this, and my friend Sonny is from Brooklyn, and he's not
I
used to
couldn't
this.
tell at all.
I've been assimilated.
Hey,
I know.
I'm Sonny. No, I'm just kidding. So here's what we'll do. If you folks will stick around after the meeting, I've talked to Seth. We're also going to put you in touch with your alderman that covers that area, and I think that would be a good jump-off point for you guys to address some of the issues.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
And we wish you the best.
Absolutely.
Well, we appreciate you listening.
Wish you
Really do.
could-
No, we appreciate you
It
coming
helps
down
get us moving
and
in the
letting
right
us know.
direction.
Absolutely.
We've tried to let time and process work, we've been here almost 2 years now. We've tried, we've used the processes that are in place, right? Go through your warranty process, use your HOA representative, or the Premier Development, Cameron. Use him, use, the processes that are in place. We've tried to use those to get things corrected that need to be corrected. And,
But until the property, until it's like 80% built out or 20 years goes by, there really is no planning, there is no board, there is no
Right.
HOA board.
so we have nothing.
So we really have nothing. We rely on the contractor to do his job, and
You know
until
how
that
that goes.
happens, we're just picking daisies. So,
I'm going to give you one other piece of procedural information for the Board of Aldermen. Any 2 aldermen can put something on the docket. So if you don't get any relief, you need to get 2 aldermen that will agree to ask that it be put on the docket. And it takes 2 weeks to a month to get that to happen. But that's the way you get before the board if you don't get relief from the Petition of Citizens.
okay.
I would also suggest you check with your title insurance if there's any violations. The title insurance may be able to help you resolve some of these problems if things were done in violation of the terms of the contract.
Gotcha.
No, we definitely appreciate you guys coming down. That's stuff that
Thank you.
that people need to know. So.
Okay, so now I move that we go home.
Great. We are adjourned. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.